On September 12th, 2018, Hurricane Florence was headed straight for my home in Wilmington, North Carolina, as a Category 4 storm. That day, my husband and I evacuated to Georgia with my 93-year-old grandmother. Although the storm weakened before making landfall 2 days later, Hurricane Florence caused extensive wind damage across the region. As it slowed to a crawl, the storm dropped about 30 inches of rain over the next 3 days, completely cutting off Wilmington from the mainland. Family farms were swallowed up as record flooding inundated fields and pastures, homes and barns. Watching this unfold on social media, I was imagining all of the produce farmers had stockpiled in the days before the storm, and things like eggs and milk piling up by the day. Without any markets, these small farm businesses could be facing weeks or months without income, and a lot of food could go to waste. Full of despair and desperate to help in some way, I decided to set up an online fundraiser to help purchase surplus product from farmers. Well aware of the food insecurity that already plagues so many in our community, the purchased product was donated to hunger relief efforts. Through the generosity of many donors, some of whom are in this room, thousands of dollars went into farmers' pockets, and many disaster victims were nourished with healthy, fresh food. Initially, as waters continued to rise, farmers began their own food relief efforts. They identified neighbors in need and gave out eggs, frozen meats, and more. I will never forget the stories they shared with me about meeting new friends and their feelings of community pride. One of my favorite stories is of a farmer who was stockpiling milk in a freezer powered by a generator. Her milk saved not only a baby in a nearby shelter that had run out of formula, but also a calf on the next farm over whose mother had mastitis. Once the waters receded, Cape Fear Food Council members helped farmers distribute their product to disaster relief stations, churches, and food pantries. With dozens of eggs coming in every day, one local restaurant generously offered to make hot breakfast sandwiches every day. As we began working with various local and national organizations, it became clear that overall food relief efforts were hindered by a lack of coordination. Most communication was happening in massive email threads and text conversations, and everybody's stress levels were going up. In order to alleviate some of the chaos, Food Council members decided to create a centralized communication system that would help connect organizations in need with additional resources. Now known as Disaster Food Connect, food relief organizations participated by sending us brief status updates daily. The system connects larger entities from out of town with local groups, helping everyone use resources more efficiently. It also helped with more equitable distribution by reducing gaps of service in some areas, while also reducing duplication in other areas. Although Disaster Food Connect was still a work in progress when the community began moving from relief mode to recovery, the Cape Fear Food Council is still developing it to be used across a larger region in future disasters. As local farmers also began shifting their sights on recovery, a major priority was replanting as soon as possible. Some could not afford to purchase more fall transplants, and starting from seed would take longer, but time was of the essence. In order to provide assistance, the Food Council reached out to statewide partners for help sourcing transplants and coordinating the logistics. Together, they arranged for a donation and a delivery of 4,000 fall starts from J&B Farms in Roxborough. The manager of the Wilmington Farmers Market took requests from farmers about what they needed and arranged distribution. In the weeks and months after the storm, the market was full of kale, mustard greens, collards, Swiss chard, cabbage, and more. Another major issue facing farmers in the wake of the hurricane was finding help with repairs and other labor-intensive tasks. In fact, several told me that in the days after the storm passed, they spent most of their time mending fences and chasing animals. In order to build up a labor force capable of helping farmers with projects, not only after a disaster, but also throughout the year, our Food Council recently took over Cape Fear Crop Mob. This program helps coordinate volunteer opportunities at local farms. Whether planting or harvesting, weeding or watering, Crop Mob events bring people out to farms and lend extra hands for big projects. Usually, these activities end in a potluck meal shared by all. A few months ago, when Hurricane Dorian passed by the lower Cape Fear region, we were lucky to get off relatively easily. However, Crop Mob volunteers were able to help a farmer clean up a downed tree and other debris in preparation for an upcoming farm-to-table dinner. Although the effects of Hurricane Florence are still felt by many in our area, the storm caused our Food Council to be more productive and proactive and innovative. We will certainly face other disasters in the future, but we'll do so as a more connected and resourceful community. Thank you.